right, we're going to get right into it. Many of you guys know that the Amish saved Pennsylvania. They came out in numbers to vote. They helped President Trump get elected. And it just seems like they're saving America. I want to share with you guys another story that I have from the Amish from 1965. Many of you guys have probably never heard this story. I didn't even know about this story till just recently. And I've lived with the Amish for the last 16 years, working arm in arm, hand in hand with them. And we never even talked about this, or they never even brought it up. Do you know in 1965 in Iowa, they were trying to force the Amish kids to go to the public school? Yeah, it's no joke. It was like a 3-year fight, and the Amish were holding fast. They did not want to send their kids off to the public school. Then all the police and the school people all got together, and they basically threatened them like nobody's business, and they brought a yellow bus to the school to pick up the kids. One of the first schools that they went to said, "We're not doing it," and no one got on the bus. And when they went to the second school to get the kids, one of the parents yelled, "Run!" And that's what they did. Here's a picture that captivated the world actually in 1965 on the Amish running into the cornfields to avoid getting on the school bus. Now I'm going to play you guys this video clip about the whole situation so you can get a better idea of what happened and what's happening now.
Amish children in 1965 fled school and law enforcement officers who intended to enforce Iowa's compulsory public education laws. The emotional scene was captured on film, and the images were published nationally, resulting in a religious rights movement. Iowa lawmakers ultimately exempted Amish from laws that require most children to attend public schools. In recognition of that 50th anniversary, the Register spoke with 2 key people involved in that case. These are their stories. Andy Raber was 9 years old in 1965 and one of the students who fled the Hickory Grove School in the iconic photo that generated national response.
Yeah, I must have been 9 years old at that time. I remember going to school that morning. We knew at that time that they was going to come out and pick us up at the schoolhouse at that day to take us into town. And our parents had told us not to go. They had stopped at the first school and they didn't get anybody there, so they stopped down here at Hickory Grove School. The bus was there, plus there was sheriff department was there. All the kids were out of the schoolhouse, and then one father said, just yell, "Run," which we did, and everybody ran. One older scholar that they caught him, except there was one little first grader girl that they caught. They actually put those on the bus. They did not take them to town. They brought them back in. They let them go and they come back in again because the parents would not accept that. They would not. You're not going to take those 2 to town. Yes, we were scared. So we run to the cornfield. We run back to the timber. And by that time it was noontime. So we went all back to school again because everybody was gone. I think it was the wise thing to do. I for my part, don't think I would want my children going to these high schools, big schools, where you've got, 50 or 100 kids together. We don't use a computer in school. We don't even use a calculator in school. We try to teach the 3 R's, which is reading, writing, and arithmetic. Well, for one thing, they were teaching a lot of things that we weren't used to being taught, And that, as of now, we teach our kids in school today. They do a prayer before school, and they'll do a prayer at lunchtime. That wouldn't be accepted in town, would it? Those are just a few things,
The battle between the Amish and Buchanan County and Iowa school officials began years before the 1965 incident. Some Amish parents served jail time for refusing to send their children to public school. Iowa Governor Harold Hughes requested a moratorium on compulsory education for Amish soon after the 1965 incident.
Our parents had been forced to pay fines for not sending kids to Hazleton School. They refused to pay the fines. So on a Sunday in church, the officers come to church and took our fathers to Independence to the jail. That's where they spent Sunday night and Monday. And I know of them not paying their fines, and they had come out and seized hogs, fat hogs, to pay for the fine. Somebody from whoever, he had never idea, paid his fine. I know my dad always figured it was Governor Hughes himself.
Arthur Sensor is the former superintendent of Olwines Community School District. He championed public school integration as he was instructed to do by state and local education officials.
And then the Department of Public Instruction and the Buchanan County, they decided that we, Olwines, should enforce the school rules. That's how it all started, yeah. And I give you the exact dates there when I got the letters from the State Department. And everybody was aboard and said, yeah, those poor kids are not having an adequate education, and you should make them go to school. And so that's what I tried to do.
Amish, particularly the older order Amish, don't generally teach science or current events in school. It's among the reasons there was pressure from Iowa's education leaders in 1965 for Amish to attend public school.
I thought it was a good idea and necessary because I didn't understand the Amish at that time. I had very little contact with them. I didn't know them personally. Later, I went to magistrate's court 18 or 20 times and testified against them, and they were fined for not sending their kids to a proper school. And every time some outside organization paid their fine, and I got to know these people well, and I came to realize that there was no way that they were going to send their kids to a public school.
You know, if you were to go back in time to 1965 and you were instructed that you had to make these children go to school as you were,
yeah,
what would your reaction be now?
First, I would have sat down with the Board of Education and would have said, this is an unreasonable thing. We're not going to be able to accomplish this. If my board had not agreed with me, I would have resigned and found another job.
Wow, did you guys even know that story existed? I'm a firm believer that if back in 1965, if the parents did not stand in the gap as strong as they did for their children and their way of life, their culture, you would not even know what the Amish were right now. They would have been obliterated by the public school system and the influences of the television and the English people. It would have wiped them out. And Stacy and I, when we first moved up here, especially the smartphones were just coming out, I am very, very worried about the Amish folks. And this video, I thought, was very powerful. And the firm fact is that they value their culture and their heritage so much that they do anything to preserve it. Like, why do we just send our kids to school and let them learn all the stuff they don't need to know? You know, one of their sayings is teach them everything about nothing. And if you look around today, you could probably see that's true. Share this video with your friends. I thought it was a very inspirational video about bucking the system, about standing firm in your beliefs. And in my opinion, I think it's saved the Amish culture. All right, we'll see you guys on the next video. This is video number 10. That's 10 videos in a row. We're going to do them every single day this year. We're going to try to document this whole transition of power and all the stuff that's going to be going on, because I think it's going to be one heck of a ride. All right, share this video with your friends. I thought it was really good. And did you know that this even happened? Leave a comment down below if you've ever heard this story. All right, and we'll see you guys later. Tomorrow for number 11. Aren't you glad that they held the line? That they didn't give in, that they wanted to protect their children, their culture, their way of life, no matter what it took? America used to be like that. We got to stop rolling over for all the crazy. Look at the public schools now. Could you imagine if in 1965 they started sending their kids off to public school, where they'd be right now? See you on the next one.